Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Castlevania Season 1, Episode 1. It's called Witchbottle. This is the new Netflix show, an animated series, which just launched today. It's only 4 episodes for Season 1.
To be fair, they are calling it Season 1, Part 1.
Not any more than that. More than that in the news, but which we're recording right after this.
Okay.
So
They were calling it that.
they were calling it that, not anymore. It's just Season 1 that's 4 episodes. More than that in the news video coming up probably early tomorrow for the viewers. But Connor's finding out about that quite soon. But no, so this is the new animated Castlevania show. Obviously, it's based on a video game series by Konami, and Konami aren't really making video games about it anymore, so someone had to step in and make something Castlevania related. So we'll start spoiler free as we always do. We'll give you, for episode ones, obviously. Other episodes we don't, but for episode ones we always give you a spoiler free section to give you a sense of should you check it out, is it worth watching, worth trying, that kind of thing. So Castlevania, what is Castlevania? Castlevania is about Dracula and vampire hunters named the Belmonts, and also a guy named Alucard, depending on which game you're playing. I'm familiar enough with the games to a point, but I've played a little bit of 1, I've played a little bit of 4, I've played a little bit of Symphony of the Night. I really couldn't tell you much about the plot though, outside of characters hunting Dracula.
Yeah, outside of you end every game with killing Dracula.
Yeah. You fight your way through a horde of monsters and other bosses. Some of the bosses are quite fun because one's like a mummy, one's a Frankenstein monster. Like sometimes they have some fun characters, but
Yeah.
that's basically that's the whole idea. And I've always liked the idea of Castlevania. I never played it as a kid, and I often find it with these old games, these old really tough games, might I add. They're difficult beasts to get through. I often find that the ones I played as a kid I can go back and play and still enjoy because my muscle memory's still there. But the ones that I never played growing up, I have a really hard time getting into. Like, you know, whenever I love Castlevania in terms of the idea, and when I play the first one I really enjoy it until I hit level 2, the difficulty spikes and I'm like, you know what, life is too short, I just don't have the patience for this.
Yeah, and then you get to the point where they artificially increase the difficulty, so you'd have to buy a Nintendo Power Magazine to find out how to do it.
Either that or your Game Shark, your Game Genie, whatever which console had. I can't remember which one was which, but aye, so that's what Castlevania is. So I was interested in the show, get in, because I like the idea of Castlevania.
Yeah.
At the very least, without knowing too much in depth. I do know that this one is more connected to Castlevania 3. How close the plot actually is to the game itself, I don't. Again, this was an original Nintendo game, the NES. So I don't know how in depth the plot actually was on the game, but this one apparently is more based towards that. So I'm sure fans of the games in the comments or whatever can maybe fill us in some of the differences and whatnot. But my first thought about this actually is that it's 4 episodes long. They're all about 25 minutes, give or take. And honestly, after finishing the first episode, it really just feels that this was the first 20 minutes of a movie rather than an episode of a TV show.
Yeah, I was the same. I was like, why isn't this a movie?
Because I got to the end and the final little moment doesn't feel like a cliffhanger at the end of an episode. It just kind of feels like the end of a scene and then credits.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's a bit unfair because I think the rest of the episode does work as this is one episode. Whereas the final scene kind of goes, oh no, now it feels like it was a movie.
To a point, I think the reason why I would sort of maybe disagree with that is that because this first episode, for the most part, it's the prologue at the start of a movie. Because the character, we don't meet the protagonist, our hero, until the very end, which is for a season that only has 4 episodes, and you don't introduce your hero till the end of the first one. That's kind of weird. Like, the entire first episode is about Dracula and why he's evil right now, why he's pissed, why he's coming for
which
humanity.
Is why I think most of it works as an episode, because this is the threat, this is setting it up, so this is the episode, that's its arc, its plot, it has a thing for just this episode, and then the final scene comes in, you introduce your hero, it's like, okay, now it doesn't feel like an episode anymore.
So yeah, this is the thing, I get what you're saying, but I actually think because this is a TV show and because it's the first episode, Like, see if this was episode 3, right? Let's say we had 2 episodes of our hero doing stuff and like hunting the bad guy, and then we got the episode that focused on why the villain's doing what he's doing, and it was like a flashback episode. I'd completely agree with you. But as a pilot, as the first episode, to introduce it with the entire thing is setting up the villain, that feels like the start of a movie to me.
I'm gonna defend it in a strange way.
Okay.
We literally just said our knowledge of Castlevania is, yeah, you fight Dracula in every game.
Oh,
and
sure,
I think that's kind of the point here. They go, Castlevania, it's not about the heroes, ultimately. It's about Dracula. So let's start with Dracula.
Alright, okay. I think mostly I'm just kind of based on how it feels, and it feels like the opening 20 minutes to a movie.
It does, yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. So yeah, basically we have this character named Lisa who goes and seeks out Dracula and forms a bond with him. Time skips forward, and Dracula maybe softens on humanity because of her. But then she's trialed as a witch and burned at the stake, and that kind of kicks off like, okay, Dracula's pissed now. He now hates humanity more than he ever has, and all hell is going to rain across the land of... I can't remember the name of it. There was Willica? Wiccalia, yeah, that sounds right. But that's kind of the gist of it. And that's kind of most of the first episode, really. And
that sets up the show going forward, though.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Like I say, it feels like the opening prologue to what the story's going to be. Because like I say, we don't meet the Belmont till the very end of the story. Or the end of the episode. I shouldn't say the end of the story, because it's not the end of the story at all. It doesn't feel like the end of a story.
It's the start of the story.
Anyway, I guess really it was just talk about was it fun? Did we like it? Did it?
I think immediately it's oozing atmosphere.
It is. I appreciate because it opens with like around Dracula's castle. He's got lots of old humans on like pikes and stuff around, and that's very atmospheric. It does feel. There is gore in it, which I mean, I wasn't expecting like a kids animated show, but I wasn't really necessarily sure what age range it was. Like, you know, was it suitable for like 12-year-olds? Was it suitable for whoever? But you know, when bodies start getting ripped open, there's at one point you can see some intestines flying out of someone's like torso, and I was like, oh, okay, so right, we're having some proper gore here. I'm down with this. I can live with that. Also, there is swearing and stuff. There's some F-bombs in there, so definitely it's made for a mature audience.
Yeah. How did you feel about the animation? Because I know typically you're not a fan of anime, and this is very much an anime style of look.
Yeah, it's interesting. I liked it for the most part, because I actually often find that, not all anime, but there's a certain type of anime where I really like the backgrounds. I'm thinking Ghost in the Shell, right? Ghost in the Shell, fantastic backgrounds. Yeah. They almost look like pre-rendered backgrounds on PS1 video games, which I have a fondness for.
Yeah, I can kind of see that even with the opening shot of this, you know, the Field of Skulls. It's kind of like that, isn't it? Yeah,
there's a lot of atmosphere because it almost feels like the background's a painting. It's the characters. It's usually the people that I have trouble with. This one's not too bad though. This one doesn't feel like full on, like animated. Yeah. You know, it didn't do that annoying thing where little speed lines everywhere when someone jumps to do something, and maybe we'll get that in episode 2. I don't know, but at least for this one, it felt more like a sort of merging between the styles to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially with the action, you know, when stuff actually starts going down, it felt a little bit more Western.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Just visually, immediately, it looks like an anime.
No, it does. But to be fair, it doesn't look like the kiddie anime that I particularly dislike. The sort of one was like, oh, what sort of weird men are watching these clearly all 13-year-old looking girls in promiscuous situations? Like, that's, you know, when we talk about me not liking anime, I'm definitely veering more in that direction of hate. But I thought the art style worked quite well. It was nice and dark and broody and stuff. Honestly, though, as far as the story goes, it's really hard to gauge at this point. Because, as I say, it is the opening...
It's not started yet, has it?
Not really. Because presumably once we've got the Belmont set up, we're going to have him, like, going to stop Dracula, and that'll be, like, part of the main plot. And I have no idea how that's going to feel, or what's the fighting with him and his whip going to be like.
That's it. I enjoyed what we had. I thought it was solid. I enjoyed Dracula. But I still don't really know what to expect going forward.
And obviously, I mean, it's 4 episodes. We already agreed we're going to check out the rest. I mean, it's almost tempting to just say, let's just watch the rest of all of it and then just do it as a movie. But
yeah, but I want to see how they break it up. If it is, if after this first episode it feels less like a movie.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. We won't have episode 2 up tomorrow, but we're planning on having episode 2 up on Sunday, so it won't be too long, and then we should be going one per day. Which won't last very long because there's only 4 episodes, so we're done by Tuesday. So not a long drawn out process, but I was kind of into it. I mean, I'm not blown away. I like some of the art style.
I did like a lot.
Yeah,
the music. Thought the music was excellent.
Music's not bad. I do agree. I like the music. That said, though, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed if at no point in these 4 episodes I don't hear a track from a game. Because as much as I've not played a lot of the games, I've listened to a lot of the music.
No, I'm the same. It's got a lot of iconic music.
Yeah, I've got the main Super Castlevania 4 music stuck in my head right now.
That's it. It's all down to if they want to just differentiate themselves apart from it. I can see it coming in at like a key moment.
I can see it as well. But then again, given that it's tied to Castlevania 3, one that I have not played and know no music from, at least off the top of my head.
Would you recognise it?
Yeah, would I even recognise the music? I have to bring it in. So that's kind of a fair point. So yeah, this is a really weird one to judge. Based on this 25-minute episode, it is really hard to say.
It is. It's strange because I enjoyed the episode, but I still don't know if I'll enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, and also again, I can't emphasize this enough. It feels like the opening 25 minutes to a movie. I feel like I just watched the first 25 minutes to, I don't know, pick a movie. I'm looking up at my shelf. I watched the first 25 minutes of Thor, and then turned it off and thought, I'm going to go and review that 25 minutes. I mean, how do you do that? You can't.
That's it.
It's impossible.
I'm more concerned going forward with that because, like I said, at least this one has the focus of this is Dracula's episode. This is setting him up, his backstory.
I think a big thing for me is how fun is it Simon Belmont is in this one? Let me double check the names. I
don't know because I don't think we got.
No, it's Trevor Belmont. I was just checking the cast list. Trevor Belmont. How fun is it going to be with him with his whip? That's the thing, because obviously Castlevania, you're constantly using that whip. That's your main weapon. Yes. And I just wonder, is him tearing through demons with his whip going to be fun? If that's fun, if they nail his journey and his adventure getting to Dracula, if that's a fun time, I think we'll be in reasonable shape for if not an amazing show, at least a fun one.
Yeah, I agree, and it won't last very long, but hey, I'm down for it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's I mean, I liked it. I can't praise it that highly because again, it's just such a short.
That's it. But I feel like it would have to go really, really far wrong for me to stop enjoying it. Even if I do look back and go, I wish I'd just watched it all as one sitting rather than broken up episodes. I think I'll still get enjoyment out of this.
It's also worth mentioning the opening titles appeared exactly 1/3 into the episode.
Yeah,
feels a bit late.
Sounds about right. They did feel quite late when I was watching them. Yeah. I was like, I think I didn't notice that they hadn't been there before, and then they started. I was like, oh yeah, we should probably do these at some point. I almost thought they weren't going to bother,
but no, they popped up eventually. Voice cast is not bad.
No, it's all pretty solid.
Yeah. So let's. I'll do a quick spoiler section. I don't have much to say in spoilers because I think there wasn't much to spoil honestly in this first one. But so spoilers if you're concerned from here on out for the first episode. The only thing I want to talk about really is there's a character who shows up to talk to Dracula to try and stop him from doing his
genocide.
He's genocide. He wants to just destroy humanity basically. And this character shows up. Now I think that was Alucard. I'm not
certain.
I'm not certain, but he's got white hair and he tries to fight Dracula. It cuts away. We don't see what happens to him. It maybe presents as if someone's about to die. I don't necessarily think he did. I feel like we're probably going to run into him.
It's too easy. That wouldn't happen off screen like that.
He'll be in a cage or something later. Dracula won the fight, but you'll put him in a cage or something.
Yeah.
Or other.
I do want to say on top of that, I thought it was really interesting Dracula's motivation being, this human convinced him that, no, maybe humanity has some good. And then they destroyed her, so he's going to destroy them. I kind of like that.
I don't know, that's an interesting idea. I kind of like at the start of their relationship, I like that she's fascinated by his science. Cat, would you stop it? Like, you know, it's obviously it's set in the 19th century, but like he's got like a lab, and he's got sort of rudimentary electricity, and he's got all these like, you know, concoctions, and that does feel like the games, because from what I've played like Symphony of the Night, like when you're going through his castle, there is like an alchemy lab, like, you know, it feels kind of like, you know, so I do wonder like how much of this series is going to be actually in the castle with like Trevor going through and.
It could be interesting, like him finding his way through the traps.
Yeah, and also it's worth mentioning that when Trevor like hears about stuff happening at the end, he just kind of goes, "Oh shit!" It's like, is he going to be a reluctant hero? Does he not want to be involved? Is he?
Yeah, it's more like, God damn it! Now I have to deal with it. That's kind of how I read it in the moment, but we'll wait and see.
Doesn't sound like the public like the Belmont either, by the sounds of it.
No, and obviously there's been a time jump again. There's a few of them in the episodes, but obviously this one there was one at the end. And you have to wonder, what did they do specifically that made them so hated?
Well, again, if this is based in Castlevania 3, we've already had Belmonts go after Dracula at this point, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that's true. But it seems weird to hate them because they failed, but at least they're trying.
I don't know. Maybe there's lore from the games that would explain this attitude towards the Belmonts.
I think we need to speak to Tim.
But at least for now, I'm sure the series will fill us in as we go, and we can discover why.
Yeah.
So, but no. So that's the first episode of Castlevania. It's a pretty decent time, but it's really hard to judge. So check it out. It's 25 minutes. There's no reason to not. And we'll be back with episode 2 at some time on Sunday evening. So let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv. Check out some of the bonuses over there. But that is us, so thank you once again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?